The world of sunscreens is super confusing and really tricky. I mean, first you gotta answer, is a chemical sunscreen better than a mineral sunscreen, and which one should you choose? But I also feel like finding the right sunscreen for you is just a personal quest and journey. It's very tricky, and we're all very individual with different needs that we need from a sunscreen, which is why I want to put a few more sunscreen reviews up here to kind of help guide you guys through your journey. So give this video a big thumbs up because today we're going to be talking about a 100% mineral sunscreen that is super popular in the K-beauty community. And we're going to be talking about the Make Prem Defense Me Blue Ray Sun Cream. We're going to talk about why this sunscreen really broke my biases about mineral sunscreens. We're also going to find out the extra added protection that you're going to find in this formula. Plus, we're going to find out if this might be the right sunscreen for you. So I think the first question we need to answer is, what is the difference between a chemical sunscreen and a mineral sunscreen? And I think it can be pretty easily explained by how they block the UV rays. So chemical sunscreens actually absorb the UV rays, and that's how they protect your skin. And this is most commonly done by ingredients like oxybenzone or avobenzone. You'll see this listed on the back of your sunscreen list as the active sunscreen component. Now, when you have a mineral sunscreen, which is sometimes referred to as a physical sunscreen, the way that they operate is to actually block the UV rays or to actually create a barrier, a physical barrier, which is why they're called physical sunscreens on your skin, and that's how they protect your skin from UV rays. And this is most often done with the ingredients titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. So I think the next question is, which one is better, right? And that is a question that I just cannot answer. It just has not been conclusively answered by science yet. There is a lot of debate out there if one is better than the other, but what I can tell you is that mineral sunscreen is actually really the sunscreen that is recommended almost universally for sensitive skin. There is a lot of evidence that chemical sunscreen can cause irritations and it can cause sensitivity in quite a few people with sensitive skin. So it really is recommended if you do suffer from sensitivity or are easily irritated by sunscreens to stick to mineral sunscreen because they are proven to be less irritating. So let's talk about the Make Prem Defense Me Blue Ray Sun Cream. So what you need to know about the ingredients list is that it's a 100% mineral sunscreen using the filters of titanium dioxide and zinc dioxide. The other thing that I think stands out in my opinion about this ingredients list is the fact that it doesn't contain any drying or simple alcohols in the formula, which is always a gold star in my book because I personally have a little bit of sensitivity to drying alcohols. Now, this also contains 4 silicones, which is kind of hard to avoid with mineral sunscreens. It's hard to find a cosmetically elegant mineral sunscreen that doesn't use silicones. This provides SPF 50 with a PA of +4. So Make Prem takes this a step further from just your average SPF 50 and PA +4 protection, because this claims to lower your skin's temperature to protect you from something called heat aging. Now I read that and I was like, heat aging, you say? That sounds like a gimmick. And it definitely does sound bizarre, but I started to look into this further and I started to realize that this really wasn't a gimmick at all. So Make Prem is actually protecting you from something called IR or infrared radiation. Now, this is definitely a concern. This is a real thing that we should all be taking seriously when we're thinking about protecting our skin. So let's break it down. UVB rays, those are the rays that can burn or tan your skin. You want to think about those rays as hitting just like the top layer of your skin. We get protection from UVB rays from the SPF in our sunscreen. So SPF 50, that's That's what's protecting us here in this sunscreen. Now, UVA rays, as some of you may know, are the rays that age your skin. Now, these rays have a longer wavelength, and it means that they actually go further than the top layer and they penetrate more deeply into the skin. And this is how they age the skin, because they can destroy the collagen structure of your skin. These are also the rays that are responsible for skin cancer. So these are very damaging rays. And we get protection from UVA rays in the PA+4. However, there is also other damage that is occurring from infrared radiation. The wavelength of these rays is actually longer than UVA rays, which means that they go even deeper than UVA rays, which means that they cause even further damage on our skin. So the way that the Make Prem sunscreen is protecting you from IR is by lowering the temperature of your skin. This is not a filter, but what we know about IR is anything that can kind of cause heat on your skin, it might be causing damage, and that is going to mean the sun, but it can also mean electronics. So by lowering the temperature of your skin, you are getting protection from IR. As far as I know, there are no filters that currently exist, no technology for IR filters in sun creams, but by lowering the temperature of your skin, you are going to be getting some protection from IR. And I just want to say one more thing about this whole cooling effect. Because when I see the words cooling effect, I run for the hills with sensitive skin. I have had a lot of irritation caused by cooling sensations in skincare products. And I want to make the distinction that the cooling effect is not a sensation. You're not going to feel this. You won't feel any coolness on your skin as you apply the sunscreen. It's not going to tingle or anything like that. And in fact, you could easily put this sunscreen on and not know that it has a skin temperature lowering effect. So let's talk about the texture of this product, because as I mentioned earlier, the Make Prem sunscreen really broke my bias about mineral sunscreens, because my past experience with mineral sunscreens was that they were very thick. They're very gloopy, almost paste-like. They're hard to spread. They often will cause congestion on my face or clogged pores. Plus, they have like a white cast for days. Like, am I right? This is how I thought about mineral sunscreens, and I just really chose to not explore them very deeply because I just didn't have very good luck with them. But this sunscreen changed all of that for me. So when you squeeze it out of the bottle, it will look like a traditional mineral sunscreen. It's very, very white. But as you spread it across your skin, you're going to start to notice the difference, because it's very spreadable, it's very lightweight, and it just starts to like sink into your skin, almost disappearing in a translucent manner. So this definitely is way more spreadable. It's way lighter weight. And I have to tell you, I never experienced any kind of congestion while using this mineral sunscreen either. So let's talk about the white cast, because white cast is really like the number one issue or headache that a lot of people have with mineral sunscreens. So let's talk about titanium dioxide, the ingredient titanium dioxide. Now, this is the chemical filter that is protecting us from UV damage in this sunscreen. But in fact, titanium dioxide is used in a whole other bunch of products and things that are not related to sunscreen at all. One of those products that titanium dioxide is well known for is actually as a pigment in white paint. White cast is pretty inevitable when it comes to titanium dioxide. It's really interesting, isn't it? So let me tell you about the white cast on this one though, because I have no idea how Make Prem did this. I have no idea how they got a 100% mineral sunscreen to have such a low white, like almost nothing white cast. Just for reference, my skin tone in Korean-based makeup, I use a number 23. So I can really only speak from my experience on this, but I didn't really experience any white cast. If you look really closely, maybe you might see a little bit of it. But to be honest with you, even without wearing makeup and putting this on, I felt very comfortable. I didn't feel like there was a white cast. And in fact, it maybe even had a slight tone-up effect, just very slight one, on my skin tone. So I didn't have any problems with that whatsoever. However, if you're darker than I am, you probably will start to see it a little bit more. Now, speaking to other people in the skincare community of all different skin tones, they have confirmed that this really is the best mineral sunscreen with the most minimal white cast, especially with the high PA rating, the PA plus 4, because it seems like once the pluses go up in the PA rating, the white cast seems to go up. And this is really one of the best ones with the most coverage. So my experience with this sunscreen was very positive, if you couldn't tell. I mean, not only did it break my biases about mineral sunscreens in general, but it was just a really pleasant sunscreen to reach for every single day. Now, let me tell you one thing that I noticed with this sunscreen. I did occasionally wear this without makeup, and I don't know what I was thinking. One night, this is sticking out in my mind, one night, instead of doing a double cleansing method, which I would do, even if I don't wear makeup, I would still do it with sunscreen. That's still a good practice to be in. But I just reached for my foaming cleanser first for some reason and washed my face, rinsed it, went to towel off, and something didn't feel right on my skin, so I ran my fingers across my cheeks, and I had all these little like white pills on my fingertips, and I was like, what the heck is this? And it quickly clicked in my mind that it was the sunscreen. It had not washed off completely. So this is just like a word of warning about this sunscreen and just sunscreen in general, that you definitely want to have a really good double cleansing method in place. You really want to be using an oil-based cleanser to take the sunscreen off first, because foaming cleanser alone just isn't going to do it. And so make sure that you have a good cleansing process in place. That being said, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't experience any texturized skin or clogged pores while using this sunscreen long term, so that was definitely a really good thing in my book. Because, and then this kind of like ties in, because it was hard to remove. The other thing I wanted to tell you about this sunscreen is that I think that this is really, maybe not waterproof, but like really sweat proof. It wears really well, very long wearing sunscreen. Now, sometimes when I go to the gym and I'm wearing other sunscreens, and you know, when you're really working hard and you're just like sweating so much, you know, like when the sweat comes down from your hair. Maybe you guys don't work out like I do. But anyway, sometimes that will happen and it gets like really runny. You know, sometimes sunscreen will get into your eyes if you're really sweating hard. However, wearing this sunscreen at the gym and doing those types of workouts, I didn't feel like I was sweating off my sunscreen. So I think that this will be really good for people who are super active, who are really active outside. It doesn't claim to be waterproof, but it is very long lasting. It stays in place, which I think is a bonus. So there is one thing about this product that I would consider a downside, not necessarily a deal breaker, but just a downside. But thinking about it, I realized that this could be, for some of you out there, an upside. So let me explain. This cream, I felt like when I used it, it felt a touch drying on my skin. Now, let me make the distinction between a touch drying and drying out my skin, because I have most definitely had sunscreens in the past that have dried out my skin, that have taken all the hydration and moisture and just zapped it out of my skin, leaving it really dehydrated. And that's not what I mean when I say a touch dry. I just mean that like the top layer of my skin at the end of the day just felt a little bit more tight, maybe a little bit more dry, but at the top, not from deep inside the layers of my skin. So for me, a little bit a touch drying. The other thing I noticed about it is that as I used it long term, that dryness didn't get worse. So that definitely points to the fact that it wasn't taking moisture out of my skin. But this could be an upside for those of you who need a little bit more oil control from your sunscreen. And there is oil controlling properties from the ingredient zinc oxide. So this could be really great for those of you who have a little bit of excessive oil on your skin. So my final word on this sunscreen is that I really like it, and I do recommend this, especially if you're looking for a cosmetically elegant mineral sunscreen. If you have sensitivities to chemical sunscreens, this is really a good one to go for. If you're looking for a sunscreen that is going to have a little bit of oil control, this is great. And of course, if you're looking for something that's going to protect you from infrared radiation, this is the way to go. Now, this one is a little bit pricier. It retails for about $36 for 70 milliliters. But considering the fact that this contains some pretty new technology with ultimate protection, a cosmetically elegant mineral formula, I definitely still do recommend this, and I think that it is worth it. So I'm curious to know, what is your favorite sunscreen? Let me know in the comment box below. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I release 2 new skincare videos every single week, and if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss the next time I upload the new video. I really hope you guys are having a really wonderful day. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Bye, guys.